And we are recording. So this is Justin Dunn with Justin Answer, where cultural creatives come together to fulfill their human potential. So on that note, I have a most special and auspicious guest with me today. He is wearing my favorite color, my branding color, yellow, which comes to be spiritually, but also signifies value. So I would like to give a very, very warm and special welcome to, and I'm going to share my opinion here, to the greatest living master of Qigong. Now that's my opinion, so I'm entitled to that. So please welcome Master Mingtong. Thank you so much for being here.
You're so welcome, my pleasure. You're making me really humble. I was disappointing everybody first. But we're gonna have fun, have a great time together.
Well, I can see that you have a sense of humor, and that works very, very well for me. And I also see that my tinting is a little bit off on this video, so I'm just going to adjust that a little bit and continue to play with it as we speak. So Master Mingtong, what inspired you to become a wisdom healing Qigong master? Tell us your story, please.
Yeah, you know, so many events. We all have our individual story. Every story is quite amazingly complex and beautiful, profound. And but if we're reflecting back, you know, besides how everything leading to, you know, where we at right now, including at the time, you know, I was so determined to search for something, discover something, you know, can fulfill myself. And so reflecting back, it's really the ongoing search from my childhood, searching for happiness, searching for fulfillment. So growing up in a very, you know, kind of unprivileged place, family and so on, and that internal, you know, driving force, longing for better life, for greater happiness, even stronger. So also I had a, you know, severe illness, including sclerosis and asthma condition, and I learned to adapt to that weakness, live with it. But because of that, I think a part of me, knowing that there's greater potential to fulfill my life, and even this condition was diagnosed as incurable chronic condition. So when I discovered Wisdom Healing Qigong back about, let's say, 25 years ago, when I was in graduate school, studying fine arts, and I met a mutual, a beautiful friend, really comic friend, and she was teaching Tai Chi and Qigong as an American lady. And so I was fascinated. I didn't know much about Qigong. You know, of course, most of us heard of Tai Chi, and but Qigong is something more hidden, more secretive for main public. So I become curious. Then she gave me a book by the founding teacher of the system, Dr. Peng Ming. And so I was really hooked very quickly from beginning, the way he shared the wisdom from all these different perspectives, and ancient spiritual esoteric perspective, as well as modern science, modern medicine aspect, as well traditional Chinese medicine, but also from other spiritual tradition, very influential in China, such as Taoist, Buddhist, Confucianist. So it's really eye-opening, and just by reading his book. So intuitively, I knew that's something I want to pursue. And so I started to kind of experimenting with it by taking my friend's class and also then her teacher's class in the US. But I was not really, you know, too serious. I was still kind of passionate by what I'm doing as an artist. But I didn't have enough time, just kind of play with it on my own without a lot of guidance. And even doing that was so experiential, was so profound. So eventually, about 2 years later, I decided to go back to China to study more with my teacher, Dr. Peng Ming. So from then, not only took me another 2 years heal these condition of sclerosis, asthma, but really realizing my whole life is transformed, changed. There's no way back anymore. I think you know what I mean. So back then, so I decided to dedicate my life to this path, and not only continuously the healing, awakening journey for myself, but sharing this gift with people now in the last 20 years full-time in the West, especially in the US.
That's fantastic.
That's my story.
Yes, thank you. That is an incredible story, and you healed yourself, and then now you heal other people. Now, interestingly enough, I have almost as much experience with Qigong as you do. In fact, having first discovered it through the martial arts when I was training as a young man in karate, and Qigong was just one of the things that we did to enhance our practices and everything. So I'm familiar with Qi, or Qi as we called it in the dojo, but for the benefit of most people listening who I would think don't know what it is, could you explain to us what is Qi or Qi and what is Qigong?
Yeah, so in general, I think a different school of teaching and have a different perspective on Qi. So in Wisdom Healing Qigong tradition, when people ask me what is Qi, I ask back what is not Qi. What is not Qi? In the whole universe, can you give me something which is not Qi? Everything is Qi, basically. That is most profound, not just definition, but it's really about perception. How, in what way you're perceiving life, perceiving the existence, perceiving the universe. So when you're perceiving everything as Qi, that means you're perceiving everything is made of energy. Qi means energy. So there's a whole spectrum of energy to relative energy in the physical body, subtle energy in your emotional body, even to the most subtle energies, your mind, your consciousness. And that continue expanding to the whole spectrum of energy existence on the earth, in the whole universe. So Qigong is about, on one hand, is opening your perception beyond the physical, beyond, separation, beyond whatever identification of existence based on your own perception, which is mostly physical. So opening to the universal energy. And the second aspect is cultivating this energy, existence, not just about believing, oh, the energy is there, the oneness is there, but your responsibility, how you accessing the energy, how you bring the energy into your body, how you cultivating the energy in your life, including your health. And that is the potential as a human being we cultivate in Qigong. So Qigong means practice, means the capacity working with energy, also means the greater potential you have to realize. So ultimately, Qigong is about realizing human potential.
So
as we
you're
bond,
perfectly appropriate for our show then.
Absolutely. That's why I was excited.
Thank you so much for that explanation, because in all these decades, I have never had it explained in that way. That's not how it was explained in the dojo, and it's not how it was explained by some other masters I studied with. So thank you very much, because I do find that very enlightening and a very much a new perspective on Qi and on Qigong and what that means, and also how it relates to all the personal development world, the law of attraction, and the people who are speaking about energy. Everything is energy. Now it starts to make more sense of how it fits together in unity. So what is Wisdom Healing Qigong? What is that branch?
Yes. So, historically, there's so many lineages in Qigong tradition in China, which can date back to 5,000 years back in history, starting with the Yellow Emperor time. And that is almost 5,000 years of history of accumulative knowledges. And then, let's say, 2,500 years ago, and then this new, it's not a new tradition, but at the time was new, the Taoist, Confucius, the Buddhist kind of happened about the same era of time. So everything become more sophisticated, more organized, more so philosophically, let's say, integrated. And then passed down through also martial art as well, traditional Chinese medicine and the Swiss spiritual traditions. And so that's kind of passed down over the time. So my teacher, Dr. Pan, he studied this esoteric practice of Qigong since childhood. But as a professional, he is a physician and specializing in Western medicine. And then on the side, he also very cultivated, realized in the Chinese traditional medicine. So from his career, not only he was able to maintain his health, his power through his practice, but in serving his patients, he realizing from the conventional medicine point of view, including integrative medicine actually, we realizing not only limitation, but the new disease, so many different kind of disease is being classified as incurable, as chronic. That means from a conventional or even integrated method, we don't have an ultimate solution. We can manage a symptom. We can improve the quality of life. So he started to experimenting using Qigong technique, and then quickly realizing the patient need to practice this technique, practice Qigong, so to speak, to really, reverse their condition. So very quickly, in few years, he realizing very, profound result. And at the time, he's still working as a physician. Because of that, he was put into jail because he started to prescribing less medication. His patient is getting better results than anyone else. So this government, becomes suspicious of what he's doing, skeptical. So then they discover he's doing the right thing to help patients. So let him go. Then he realizing, in order to bring true benefit to the public, he has to create his own center. So create a medicine Qigong hospital in China, from special professional in medicine, including allopathic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, to medicine-less Qigong hospital, just purely using Qigong, not so much of treating the patient, but really empower them as a students, as a practitioner, to heal from within. So over the years, at the time when I was there, 5,000 people practicing together, not just occasionally, but for 1 month at a time, 4 weeks programs, and day and night, very intense practice. So one of the phenomena is when you just go in the door, whether you have experience in Qigong or not, whether you're healthy or whether you believe in this or not, your whole body going to buzz, just buzz with energy. The field of energy, the power of the energy, just so present right there. And especially after more than 2 decades of people practicing the same location, at a time with 5,000 people. So with that power, people start to experience incredible recovery from all these incurable conditions. So as a doctor, he started to, collecting the data. He wanted to know evidence-based, no, this is true happening. So he have students do a medical test beforehand, then go slow 4 weeks program, then go into the conventional hospital, Western medicine hospital, do a conventional test again, compare the result. If you see measurable change, then means effective. And that means for all these incurable conditions. And so as a result, he was able to realize 95% effective rate for like more than 200 different kind of chronic conditions, you name it. So that is the relatively contemporary history. So the application of Qigong applying to health in a larger scale is only happened probably from 40, 50 years ago in China, Before that, it's more like secretive for people, high classes or people ordained in certain, lineages. And they access to these practice for two reasons. One is for spiritual development, but second is for practical reason, is longevity. They want to accomplish the ultimate goal of immortality. There's so many stories like that. And so, but for my teacher as a doctor, he wanted to help everybody. So not only he was able to make this secret available for the mainstream, but he incorporate what he learned over more than 30 years, integrate into a system called Integrative Oneness system. And it's called Zhineng Qigong, Wisdom Healing Qigong. So it's really not only bring the best technique he learned from 19 different teachers, but also tracing back to what is the original energy principle, energy cosmology, energy wisdom. And so there's a profound, cosmology, then the methodology, then the method come out of that. Then looking at all that in a new light of science, including quantum physics, including, new medicine, so on. And then how we applying all these wisdom to the healing. But in this case, healing is more about awakening our full potential. So as a byproduct is healing.
Oh. So who can benefit from wisdom healing Qigong? Everybody?
So ultimately, everybody.
Okay. Yeah,
everybody.
Not just sick people. So that's
no, anybody. So here's the bottom line. Yeah. So when you recognize everything is made of energy, your whole body is made of energy, your heart is running on energy, your mind is functioning based on energy, then the conclusion is very simple. More the energy flowing, then more you can have health. More the energy flowing, more you feel the joy when the heart opening. Yeah. More energy flowing, more you're activating all capacity, including brain capacity, creative capacity of your mind, spiritual capacity of connection with the oneness, with the universe. So opposite is true too. When the energy is not flowing, if energy is stuck, blocked, isolated, then disease comes. Yeah. Then our heart contract, emotional body feel, depressed. Right now we experience so much depression, so much emotional issue, anger issue, and grief issues, and worry issues. And main issue is the fear. The fear is that energy, life force is contracted in your kidney system. Then you're experiencing the fear. Then vice versa. When that energy contracts being fear, then you responding to life with the fear, then become a vicious cycle. So as a result, we're experiencing so much fearful pattern of fight, flight, also freeze. But as a result, is depletion of this life forces. That energy is suppressed, stuck, is not functional, it's not nourishing life, it's not fulfilling the true purpose of life, including our creativity. So that is the bottom line. So how to awakening that energy, opening that energy, allow the energy flow in the most optimal, connect in the most optimum way, that is the main concern. So that means involved with your body, involved with your emotion and heart, involved with your mind, involved with how you are living your life. But the formal practice is allow you change these patterns, the limited pattern of contraction, the limited pattern of fear, the limited pattern of disconnection we're experiencing right now so much. So it's really about tap into the inner power you're born with already, and yet the inner power is suppressed, is challenged now. How you can, reconnecting with the original essence, original power again. That is really about the main concern of Qigong.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense to do that. So, I mean, the medicineless Qigong Center in China that inspired you sounds absolutely fantastic in terms of, I mean, they seem to have cured incurable diseases. And we say that with commas because technically, you know, you can't cure anything in this country. And I'm not even in the United States. So, but they did it anyway. Some people would say that's a miracle. Other people would say that's impossible. And yet it happened. It happened before your eyes and before the individuals who were healed eyes. But how does wisdom healing Qigong benefit, especially for chronic illness? So for anybody listening who might have a chronic illness right now, how does it benefit?
Good question, Justin. The approach is same, believe it or not, is whether you're healthy or have a life-threatening disease or have chronic illness, whether you're young or middle-aged or old age, the practice is same. So it's not based on diagnosis. Okay. So it's not like, okay, you diagnose certain condition, then you do different things, such as different drug, different treatment. No, you automatically go into your body, connecting, the deeper dimension of your body is energy. Then wherever the energy is stuck, then you learn to open it, learn to release the stuckness, the tension, the stress. You learn to reconnecting the energy with the entire body, come back to more than just balance, come back to the wholeness, come back to ultimate energy flow, energy communication, energy wholeness. So by the parts awakening to the whole, then naturally any system of your body awakening to the optimum condition. So that is a process. It's not like overnight. So that means you're experiencing the change gradually, the improvement. Yeah. So all function of your body, mind, heart, spirit is based on the energy. So that is the principle. That is also the simplicity. And the way people are able to do it, because you have everything you need. You have your own body. You have a powerful mind. And normally our mind is externally focused. Right now, mostly externally lost, stressed, entangled with all the bad stories.
So how can wisdom healing Qigong help people in this time of COVID-19? So how can it help us?
It's all related. It's all related. Here's the formula. Here's the process.
Okay.
First is cultivating your awareness instead of mind thinking, stories and history, news and solutions. Yeah, the mind getting overwhelmed, stressed, lost. I think that's the epidemic we're feeling. Yeah. Then by doing that, emotionally, our body energy contract and the physical body also contract. And yet most time we're not aware of it. Yeah. And this is not only happening right now for pandemic, but it has been happening in your whole life. But if you're not aware of your body, then what happens? You're ignoring this stress. Your mind thinking other solution externally, move on to the next thing, move on to the next thing. But the stress accumulates in your body. You're not aware of it. And that's the number one problems. Especially right now, we have extreme stress, 10 times more, 100 times more than, even years ago. So, but most of us still lost in the mental world, not aware the body carries stress. Then, if you're not aware of it, when that's happening, eventually what happened? The body giving up. Eventually, you're diagnosed with the problems. Then, often we feel surprised. Why suddenly I have this problem? As if something happened just last night, overnight. No, my dear, nothing happened overnight. Everything you're experiencing right now is a result of accumulation of your past. The whole past of your life, basically. So the number one, I'm going to give you not only the formula, but the main solution beyond just formula to solve urgency problem right now is the long-term solution. the deepest solution you can have from my experience. Yeah. So the number one learning is turning your mind from externally lost, stressed, entangled to internally connect with your body. So simple practice we started in the beginning. You close your eye, you feel in your body, feeling the sensation of your brain, your shoulder, your arms, your 5 organ system, your entire body. Just scanning that entire body with the intention of awareness, intention of compassion, intention of loving kindness. Then naturally you're noticing, there's some area is more stressed, more intense, even more painful than the other area of your body. So our old habit is running away from this discomfort, from this pain. The mind goes somewhere else again. So with training, you're continuously coming back to your body again. So that's the first step I call acceptance, is internally accepting, internally connecting with your body, internally recognize what is true inside of your body. Instead of analyzing what is true around you, what is true around the world, you discover what is true inside of you. Then the second part of the process is much easier once you can do the first part, is doing this movement, very gentle, soft movement, but also very powerful movement, and allow you to not only feel the body, but releasing the tension accumulates through the time of everyday living as well from the whole history, and opening to more subtle energy flow, greater capacity of energy flow. Then you can do sound healing. And the sound healing allows you to tap into the energy of your 5 organ system, especially the emotional body. As I mentioned, the most powerful, challenging emotion we're experiencing right now is fear. All the choice, most of the choice we're making, personally, even collectively, especially in the political dimension right now, it's all fear-based. It's all fight-flight. And if you look at on the entire human history, all the problem is caused by this fear. So this is awakening call right now.
And people are also experiencing a lot of anxiety and a lot of trauma. So this Wisdom Healing Qigong will help with emotional well-being, yeah?
Absolutely. I feel this is one of the most important benefit of practicing Qigong, especially sound healing. Really working with the energy of your 5 organ system. It's not mental. It's not just mental. Use your mind connecting with your heart, deeply connecting deeper into your 5 organ system. Then through the vibration, you change the energy pattern of this emotion you experience from the history or triggered now by the pandemic right now. So you're the only one can change these patterns. And that is my discovery. That is the most passionate message I can share with you. Yes, you can receive support from other people. Yes, you can use medication as a treatment to, let's say, manage the symptoms. But deeper change of your own internal pattern of mind, heart, body, spirit as who you are is your own responsibility. It's your own capacity. It's your own deep journey of life. That's you very much related to fulfilling your full potential.
So
it's parallel.
Yeah, but you just mentioned mental, emotional, physical, spiritual. So how can Wisdom Healing Qigong open up our spiritual connection?
So when you're recognizing everything's energy, Justin, then you're realizing energy has no boundary. Yeah, my subtle energy extending beyond this physical body, even beyond this room, naturally connecting with the energy of the earth, of this environment I'm living, but also connecting with the entire energy field of the planet Earth. And that energy field naturally connecting with the pure energy of the entire universe.
So you feel these things, in other words, you feel
Exactly.
them as you practice.
Exactly.
The other thing you mentioned, which was interesting, was you can get support. You can get support from, doctor medicine. So what is the relationship then between wisdom healing Qigong and conventional medicine? You can use both, I assume.
Yeah, so most people use both, but we need to recognize the major difference. One is either allopathic, integrative, or complementary medicine. You still depends on someone else, depends on something else.
Okay.
With healing, totally self-healing, you're doing it yourself.
Okay.
So you're not taking on any medication. You're not only, need to let other people diagnose you, tell you what's going on in the body. So it's really a self-connection. And yes, the teacher, the healer, can support you by teaching you how to do practice, how to do self-healing more effectively. Can also empower you, inspire you, continue this journey, because it's new for most people, because the conventional habit is, if I have any problem, I go to the doctor. I give my body to the doctor. I give my spirit to the church to take care of.
You give to somebody else to come
Exactly.
and rescue you, and this is not that. This is
Yeah.
almost the opposite of that.
Opposite.
You're rescuing yourself. So,
Exactly.
so now that we're talking about differences, so what is the difference between wisdom healing Qigong, Tai Chi, which many people have heard of, but then also two other things, which I actually do. I do yoga for exercise, actually, because it's excellent for the body, but also meditation. I also meditate twice.
Beautiful.
So what is the difference then between wisdom healing Qigong and Tai Chi, yoga, meditation?
It's all good. It's all good. So historically, yoga came from India and Qigong from Chinese tradition. So these two really parallel to each other. Then in each tradition, there's so many different lineages, different schools. There's so many different kind of yoga traditions, school of teachings. And similarly, so many different kind of Qigong in China too. And so, but there are not a lot of systems. So most of Qigong is focused on just different forms, different routines, so to speak. Okay, so it's not a whole system. A system, qualified system, is a combination of different practice together. Then behind the methods, there's a methodology. One clear methodology you use to work with energy, how everything work in the most effective way possible within that system. Then behind the methodology, you have a cosmology. What is the perception of the nature of the universe, nature of this body, nature of consciousness, nature of life? So, for example, some is based on yin-yang, then such as Tai Chi, based on yin and yang. Some focus on 5, elements system. Then you have a 5 animal Qigong, for example. So some are focused on other kind of energy principle. They're all beneficial. But in big picture, it's like this, when we say Qigong in general, is the more ancient tradition, is more like the grandfather or grandmother from the ancient time coming down, or the roots coming up, to the big trunk, then different branches coming out. Tai Chi is one of these branches coming out.
Oh, okay. That makes clear sense to me. So thank you very much. And so now, what is the
meditation? Let's come into the meditation. Actually, traditionally, Qigong more focus on meditation. You usually sitting meditating or standing meditating, and that's very popular in the traditional Qigong. So in the contemporary Qigong, for example, wisdom healing Qigong as a system, we equally emphasize all of that. So moving meditation, sound healing meditation, standing meditation, sitting meditation. So it's all combination of these practice. So the main thing, I think it might be unique or integrative in the wisdom healing Qigong, is we emphasize both the power of energy as well the pure essence of the mind. So the combination of these two allow you not only bring simultaneously the benefit in the practical dimension of health as well as spiritual growth, but also allowing the union, we say heaven and earth uniting inside of you.
Interesting. So what is then the relationship between healing and this spiritual awakening?
Exactly. So it's inseparable, basically. So when you're doing healing, you're clearing the energy, naturally opening to the greater spiritual connection, spiritual growth, spiritual awakening. Then if you focus on awakening, spiritual awakening process, then naturally you need to go deeper into the physical dimension of your energy to clear whatever blockages, whatever, limited energy pattern inside of you, whether you have a diagnosis or not. So that's
yeah, that makes really good sense. So then a lot of people today, I mean, we talked about fear, anxiety, trauma already, but what about stress? How can Wisdom Healing Qigong address stress?
That's the main thing. That's the bottom line. That's just bottom line, It's like we know the main cause for all disease, especially chronic illness, is stress. Stress, not just everyday stress, but chronic stress. And we're experiencing both right now. So as a result of stress, the ultimate in the form of stress is trauma. Mm-hmm. So in responding to a traumatic events or stressful events of your life, what usually happen is your energy contract. So the energy of your brain, your nervous system contract, or the energy of your heart contract, or the energy of another organ contract, or the energy of your own connection, for example, with your relationship. Yeah, suddenly severely damaged. So when that happens, if you can bouncing back, then you're fine. But the problem is not only intense stress we're experiencing, but also the chronic stress as well, traumatic stress.
Yeah, the low
is beyond our own capacity.
Stress.
Yeah, exactly. Beyond our own capacity to bouncing back. That's what we call trauma. Yeah.
Yeah, and the ability to bounce back in business, we talk a lot about resilience.
Exactly, resilience is the key.
So.
Yeah, that's what we need most right now, and that's what we're missing most right now.
Very much so.
Qigong is really about going to your body, reconnecting with the energy inside of you. No matter what happened in the past, no matter how much trauma, how much stress, how much illness, how much disconnection happened in the past, you can connect now. You can awaken in energy now. You can open in energy again. Then you change the whole dynamic.
So you mentioned to us and you taught us a technique today. But you said there were the 3 A's practiced in the system. So the awakening, I didn't catch the other 2 A's.
Yeah, the first A is acceptance.
Acceptance.
Yeah, internally accepting your body, what is true inside of you, allow you to make a deeper connection with your own body, your own truth.
Yeah. So acceptance.
Then the second is activation.
Activation.
Basically, you activating energy with the purpose of opening, connecting with it, and flow more deeply, more holistically.
Yep. And then the third A?
The third is appreciation. Appreciating what you have, appreciating what you're experiencing, instead of judging.
That makes sense, yeah. And of course, all our friends who practice self-help, personal development, they will talk about gratitude.
Yeah.
And it's a synonym of appreciation. So that's really interesting. So what are the main techniques that people can learn for self-care and self-healing? You talked about that a lot, about instead of seeking externally, you're healing yourself. It's you're responsible. So instead of somebody else coming to the rescue. So what are the main techniques for self-care?
Yeah, it's really simple, Justin. The common practice is really applicable for everyone. So far I have shared the whole process, whole principle. and everybody can do it. But this practice is so simple. It's just very gentle movement. You know, when you're moving the shoulder gently, softly, but repetitively, then you start to releasing the tension, releasing the stress, so opening a deep energy flow. You start to feel more alive, more alive. Yeah. Then I'm just giving you a very simple example. You can do anytime, but as a routine, of course, a little bit more complex. Yeah. Sure. Another example is you lifting the solar energy around you. You imagine and visualizing the power of energy around you, arising from the earth, connecting with heaven, the universe. Then you bring the energy down, connecting deeply to the interior of your brain, interior of your body, interior of your heart, interior of your cell. So over the time, your mind able to connect, able to concentrate, able to direct the energy. Then you start feel, become more energized, more lighter, more alive, more connected. So it's direct experience when you're repeating this simple movement. So you can do this movement by sitting, by standing, even some of the movement you can lying down. Then the sound, as I mentioned, is just giving you example. The sound for the heart is like this. Activating the physical dimension of your heart. Then the second sound, activating the emotional dimension. And the greater the solar energy of your heart open, then great joy and love you naturally feel. So you're discovering the love and the joy within you without depending on the circumstance,
and
limited
of course,
by
with that demonstration and people having, you know, the recording, they can listen to this more than once, they can practice, and they can awaken both with the physical movements. If they're watching on YouTube, if they can't see them, that's okay. Go to YouTube, watch them if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. But the sound, you can definitely do the sound, because you can mimic and model what Master Mingtong has just taught us, which is really remarkable. Interestingly enough, I did an energy exercise with a friend of mine once, where we actually did feel a significant difference based on simply she was sitting in a chair and with her mind changing the energy around here, and you could, and then we switched and I did it. And just by thinking, you could very feel it. You could feel it on the hands. So some skeptical people say, oh, well, it's just the heat pressure radiating from the hand. Well, then why, when I thought a different thing, did she feel a difference without knowing I was thinking? And also I was able to do it with her thinking as she was sitting in a chair, and then all of a sudden I could feel clearly it was out here and then back here. So the energy that we have, or that we bring down to us this way, like you taught us, will absolutely have a subtle effect, but it can also have a not so subtle effect depending on how sensitive we are with this kind of stuff. So what are the 3 keys to effective self-healing practice? So, because if we're going to go now and practice this, let's say every day on our own, what are the 3 keys to make it effective?
Yeah, first is awareness, continuously cultivating, deepening your awareness beyond story, beyond concept, beyond any limited perception of physical. Just simply aware, then you discover deeper dimension of your body, deeper dimension of energy. It gives a sense of open-mindedness, open-heartedness. And the second is really connection. So you're not only connecting life around you, but most important connection is connecting what's inside of you, the mind, body, heart, spirit, connecting, aligning within you. And then you're connecting with the subtle energy in this continuous process, continuous dance of life. And you think of the movement as one way of connecting, the sound another way of activating, connecting, the visualization, meditation. And what you just shared, Justin, is a visualization technique. You visualize in the energy, then suddenly the energy becomes tangible, very experiential, can be really even measurable. So the next is really embodiment. So instead of thinking of what is out there, you're continuously coming back to your body, embody the creativity inside of you. So instead of trying to solve all the problem, from your mind, from your head, you're continuously learning, coming back to your heart, come back to the wholeness of your entire body. So these are three aspects, very important. Continue supporting you, deepening your connection, deepening the benefit, deepening your skill, deepening your capacity. So with that said, I want to share so much resources available nowadays, especially through the internet.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that as we wrap up today. I was gonna ask you, but in a specific way, so that people, if they don't have anything to write with or whatever, they can really get it. So how to learn and start doing wisdom healing qigong now, especially when we are all confined at home.
Yeah, it's
through what you have available for us.
We're so humble, also grateful. Now we can share everything through the internet. So one free gift I want to share with this audience is not only a free ebook, giving you more information, including example of research on Qigong, as well as different story of my students, practitioner, how they're benefiting from
so we'll
healing
make sure
Qigong.
That we get a link from you for that, so that we can specifically send people, no matter whether they're listening on Apple Podcasts or they're watching this on YouTube, we'll include a link so they can get that. But before we share that with everybody, how can you effectively use the internet for this process? Because you taught us a few lessons here, but my experience with Qigong, I don't know how could you do it at home. I learned with a master, in the martial arts dojo.
Yeah.
So how can we do that?
So that's amazing gift. I think it happened first time in human history now. Through the internet, not only we can access the information, but we can also practice together. So we have a lot of online programs, live stream program. Today we're more talking, but in the class we're doing the practice together online. So you can easily follow this movement, making the sound with me, with the community, and doing meditation together. We have a regular schedule, twice a week happening. Some are free, some are paid program, and that you can find out from the Qi Center website, chicenter.com, qicenter.com. Then the ebook I mentioned is also including pre-recorded. Yeah, that including the pre-recorded video available. I think about 2 or 3 videos available
at the website.
You can use by following the movement, incorporating the sound as well, and also emphasizing, strengthening the immune system as one of the important benefits by doing this practice. So that's available through different website called ancienthealingsecrets.com.
ancienthealingsecrets.com. Okay, I actually do have the link of that. That's easy to remember, so everybody either write it down but don't go now, wait till the end of the interview. But if not, don't worry, because I will include a link to that in descriptions, and so you'll have a way to access that free ebook on ancient Chinese healing secrets that Master Mingtong has gifted to us today. So thank you so much for that beautiful gift. One last question for you. So once we are released from staying at home and social distancing and all of that stuff, so what would it be like to attend one of your healing retreats? Because I know right now I'm very curious to travel over there to where you are, especially since it's cold here in England, where I reside in England. I'm cold, so I'd like to come to a nice warm place, learn wisdom healing qigong from you. So what would it be like to attend one?
We couldn't wait when the time comes, but also we have to be really patient, very patient. And imagine by then, when we're gathering together, everybody will be super excited. So it's difficult to describe, what the experience like. It's really, everything. You are able to dedicate your strong block of time to self-connection, self-healing, self-awakening. And there's many different levels of connection happening when we come here. One is with the land, the power of the land, and incredible. I don't have time to describe to you because I have to jump quickly to the next interview. And today is a busy day. So, but connection with the land is so powerful, so healing. Then connection with each other, eating each other and doing all these sessions with each other in the same room. We have different kind of activities. Some are more serious, some more fun, some very effort, some are more effortless, including taking a nap together and dancing together, singing song together. And then also always a healing session at night before you go to sleep. So it's really, everything is like we are totally enveloped by Qi energy for healing, for nourishment, for awakening purpose. Yeah.
So it sounds like there's the group, the people, the land, each other. We're just connected in every way. So is there anything else you'd like to say or ask? Otherwise, all I have to say is thank you so much for joining me today. This is a blessing. It's wonderful to meet you. What you shared with us, you taught us some valuable things. And I'm sure that everybody cannot wait to not only read your book, but engage with you further. So I really appreciate that. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we end off?
No, thank you. I cover so much, share so much with all of you. It's my pleasure.
Absolutely.
So thank you for what you do and for the vision you're holding, for the vision we're collectively holding. So sending everybody blessing, blessing, blessing.
Yes, and I'm sure we're all sending blessing to you. So this is Justin Dunn with Justin Answer. Just to remind everybody, we are cultural creatives who are fulfilling our human potential. Master Mingtong has just helped us to do that. So thank you and goodbye.